everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to finish off the little Easter cake that we've been busy with, and I'm going to show you how to make this little bunny. And I've used two molds from Fondant Solutions. I've used their body mold and I've used their little rabbit head. Now this body mold, you can make all sorts of little characters. You can make unicorns, you can make ducks, dogs, cows, sheep, you name it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to be just using the body part and the two little hands, and then I'm going to attach the rabbit's head to it. So we end up with a cute little rabbit. What I start off with is the white blossoms modeling paste. Just roll it into a ball, pop it into the mold. Now I'm not using the head part. I'm not going to fill the head. Just slice off the excess, pop it out, and remove the head part and the feet, because I want to make bigger feet for the rabbit. You can see there it's got much bigger feet than the mold has. The mold is basically just to give you a proportion for the body and the arms. So I've cut those off. And then with a palette knife or a sharp tool, you can just create the little hands onto those arms. So you can see I've created little hands there and there. So for the feet, you want to roll out two balls at the same size, and just gently make them into a pear shape. Okay. And then with your tool or your palette knife, make the feet. Make sure they're about the same size. There we go. And then you can attach that to your little body. Use a little bit of water. Sorry. And just let that, you can just let that dry for a bit while you make the head. So you can see I've just propped it up here against the side of the mold. Now this is the little bunny's head mold. Now in here we've got a little nose, and those are the two cheeks, and then we've got the head shape and the ears. So before I start, I want to just put some pink in to where the nose goes. You'll see on my one that I've already made. So we want to insert the pink in there. Again, this is the Blossoms modeling paste. I'm just going to roll that into a small ball and just pop it in into the heart shape for the nose. And then you want to take some of the white and just pop that in there and slice off the excess. And then for the head, we're going to fill the whole area with the white modeling paste. Pop it in, right down, make sure it goes right to the bottom, and slice off the excess. If your paste is sticking a little bit, just add a touch of corn flour. Make sure all your edges are nice and clean, and pop it out. Okay, once you've got out your little nose and cheeks, you can attach that to the bunny's face. Just add a little bit of water and pop it onto the bottom part of the mold. And you can even add some little whisker marks to it. So just with a very sharp pointed tool, I'm just going to add in some little indents. There we go. And you can even put a little mouth in there. So again, with your Dresden tool, you can pop that into the bottom and just pull down a little mouth there. And into that I'm going to put a tiny little pink tongue. It's all about the detailing. Take a tiny piece of pink, roll it. Just want a tiny little piece, and I'm going to pop that into the little cavity there, and then with that same tool I'm just going to push it in, and there we've got the tongue. Right, now we're going to add the little eyes, and with a very, very tiny ball tool. You can see how small that little ball is there. I'm just going to place in 2 indents for the eyes, and then I will add some black sugar paste to that. And then for the ears, I'm going to take my Dresden tool, and for the ears, I'm just going to indent on each ear, and then just point them a little bit. And there we go. So with some black paste, really tiny, tiny little balls. You don't want your rabbit to look like it's got 2 big black eyes. So you're just going to just pop those in to the holes that you've made. I'm just going to make it slightly bigger. And just pop that in there. And just ease it in with your ball tool. And the same for the other side. And then for the ears, just dust a little bit of pink in the center of each ear. So for that I've got some pink dusting powder, and I'm just going to just touch the inside of those ears. And there we go. And there's the little face. Now to put it all together, I'm going to add a bow. Now you can see I've got a bow on this one here, so I want to put the bow on before I attach the head. And I've got a cute little bow mold. There's a variety of different bows, and this is really nice. It's got some really tiny little bows on here. Comes in very useful. And pop in your paste. Don't overfill the mold. Trim off the excess. Pop it out. And with some water you can attach it to the body. And then we're all ready to pop that onto the cake. I'll attach the head to it once it's on the cake. Next up, I want to do a little bunny bottom. So all that is just a round ball with another little one on top, and then the 2 feet. And that you just put at the side of your cake so it looks like it's the bunny burrowing either into or out of a hole. And what I've done here is I've rolled my little balls here. So that's the body. I will attach the tail. And for the feet, let me show you how to do the feet. So you can see I've already made one of the feet here, and that's going to be attached to the side here. To make the feet, you need to make 2 identical sized balls. And then roll it into a ball, and then just with your finger at the top, just gently roll it so that it becomes a pear shape. Flatten it slightly. Then either with your palette knife or a sugar shaper or sharp tool, you can indent where the little toes are going to go. And then you take some pink and you roll 3 little balls of pink, and you can either roll a ball, or if you've got a small round cutter, I've got one of these little plunger cutters, and I'm just going to cut out the top part of the foot. And with your water, you can attach those to the feet. 1, 2, and 3. And there you have your little bunny's foot. Now make 2 of those, and we will attach that to the cake once everything's ready. Okay, the last thing we're going to make before we put everything onto the cake are the little Easter eggs. Now, I've made these ones just by rolling them into egg-shaped balls. You can also buy them at the moment because it is almost Easter. So you can buy these in the shops. These are just candy-coated chocolate Easter eggs. They work perfectly. But if you can't get to the shops, where most of us are in lockdown, you can make these, and these are all made with the Blossoms modeling paste. And all I did was I just rolled one. Make sure there's no cracks. If your paste is a little bit dry, you can add a bit of white margarine to it. Roll it into a ball and then into an egg shape. And then to that you can add a bow or flowers or whatever you want to decorate them with. I'm just going to add a bow onto this one. And just attach it with some water. To your egg, and there you have your egg. Just before we put everything on the cake, I just want to quickly show you how I made the flower stalks to go around the side of the cake. So I've put these intermittently around the cake, and you can see how pretty they are with the flowers we made earlier. So what I'm going to do is roll out some of the green modeling paste. You want to roll it fairly thin. I'm using a Stephen Benison stalk flower leaf cutter. And how you work with that is you roll your paste out nice and thin. I like to just pat it down with a bit of corn flour. It just stops it sticking into the mold. Pick it up. Now that's the top side of your paste. You flip it over so that the top side is now lying onto the mold. Pat it over with some more corn flour. Then using I'm just using a piece of plumber's pipe here. Don't use your nylon rolling pins because that will damage the rolling pin if you're going to roll over a stencil. I just like to roll over it so that it cuts it nicely. And on this particular cutter there's a blind spot. So I just need to take a ball tool and just make sure that it cuts through there. And then you can just rub over it with your fingers, make sure it's all nice and clean, make sure all the edges are free from the paste. You can lift that up, and then with your Dresden tool you can just gently pop it out, and there we have the flower stalk for the cakes. Okay, so we're back now. Now what I've done is I've just decorated the cake with the little Easter eggs I showed you how to make, the tufts of grass, the flower stems, and I've added flowers to each stem. Now because these flowers were dry, I've used a little bit of royal icing to attach them to the stalks. If you make it and the icing and the sugar paste is still fresh, you can attach it with water. Once they've dried, you need to use the royal icing. Like this little sun we made. This is now dry. I can't stick this onto there with water. So I'm just going to take a little bit of royal icing to the back of it, and I'm just going to pop it onto the side, and I'm just going to hold it in place just for a few moments, just so that it can adhere. And then also I've added some clouds. Now the clouds, I've used the cloud cutters, and all I did was roll out my paste and cut the clouds and stick them onto the side of the cake with some water. Now we're ready to put the rabbit on the front. So because it's still fresh, I can use my water pen, and I'm just going to quickly get the water out. Add some water to the back, pop it into the center, and then you can add the head. And pop that on there. And we've got the little bunny. Now we want to go to the back of the cake. That's the front. Here's the back. And I'm just going to add a little ball with the tail. Pop that on top. And then you can add the 2 feet. I'm actually going to use some royal icing for this one. Just pop it into the side there. And there you've got your little bunny bottom. Now that basket we made earlier is nice and dry, and I'm just going to pop some of the decorations in that we've made. I'm going to pop in the Easter egg. Wait, first put in the carrots. Everything is nice and firm and dry now. Pop in the little mealy, and you can pop in some of the little Easter eggs, and you can pop that onto the top of the cake there. And if I can just zoom up there a bit, and there we have our Easter cake. And I hope you've enjoyed the tutorials, and they're all step by step. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to give me a call, or you can drop a note in the description box below, and I will get back to you. Thank you. Bye.